Oh, hi, everybody. It's Ezra Levant here in Toronto, our world headquarters of Rebel News. And joining me from out west, our Alberta Bureau Chief and Chief Reporter, Sheila Gunn-Reid. Sheila, how you doing?
Hey, I'm great. I'm fresh off of doing my best to digest that throne speech. That was really something else. Not a lot in there for Alberta, except for the fact that they are still openly admitting that they're just going to phase us right out.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the one mention Alberta got, and Saskatchewan too, is the role those two provinces have to play in Confederation is to euthanize, is to shut down their own industry. And hey, we're all counting on you guys in Alberta to do the right thing and decarbonize. It's basically, I mean, I thought there would be something dramatic. I thought maybe there would be a new idea of some sort, like, I don't know, universal income or something. They just took every leftover liberal idea for 20 years, really. Pharmacare, national daycare, plus a lot of kooky ideas from the States. Green New Deal, Build Back Better. That's Joe Biden's campaign platform.
I know.
And then they threw in a Black Lives Matter motif, which again, that doesn't really fit with Canada's history. We didn't have slavery. The slave trade was abolished here in 1793. They really weren't slaves. We were the end of the Underground Railroad. So just lots of weird, lame, leftover stuff. But hey, it's a spending fiesta. Use the pandemic as an excuse. Never let a crisis go to waste. That's really what it was. Hey, everybody, we're going to keep on spending, and you're a racist if you disagree.
Was there anything in that throne speech that would not have been said if that throne speech were given by an NDP government? Like, as I was watching it happen, once again, Trudeau is out NDPing the NDP, and I think that's what caused the collapse of the NDP vote last time around. I mean, you can vote for Justin Trudeau, you can vote Liberal and get everything you want as an NDPer.
Yeah.
They love to use the phrase clean growth and transition, because they don't want to say, like, sorry, Alberta, you're being completely left out of the restart of the economy. They use all these mealy-mouthed Orwellian words, clean growth, which means no growth at all for us here in Alberta.
Well, that's right. And there's also censorship in there. Accusations that people are racist, of course. There's censorship calls in there. And also there's they didn't quite use, I don't think the word defund was in there. I have a text copy of the speech. Let me just search it right now. I don't think the word defund was in there, but they talked about the systemic racism of police and how they have to have more community-led policing. I know what community policing is. Police are on the streets in the community. They have a beat reconnecting. Community policing, I get that. I like that. Community-led policing, I think that's a weird way of saying, the word defund does not appear in this document. The word police is in there, and policing 3 times. It's an anti-police document. Let me just, progress must be made throughout the policing systems. All Canadians must have confidence that the justice system is there to protect them, not to harm them. This is crazy Black Lives Matter, Antifa talk being imported to Canada. Introduce legislation that will address the systemic inequities in all phases of the criminal justice system. Move forward on enhanced oversight of the RCMP. Move forward on RCMP reforms. Any RCMP that was self-respecting would be saying, are you accusing us of being racist? But of course the RCMP is run by Trudeau's hand-picked affirmative action quota hire, Brenda Lucki. So she'll just do whatever he says. I mean, she can't believe she has this job, and she'll do whatever. Sheila, before we go further down this road, I just want to tell folks why we are here now. I did my 12 noon live stream. That's sort of fun. Then I did a live stream of the throne speech, which was basically Trudeau's speech delivered by Julie Payette, the Governor-General, which outlines the goals for the next Parliament. But this is something different. Trudeau has summoned all the media to cover this very, very important speech he's to make, which he claims will not be partisan. I don't believe that. So who knows what he's going to say? I mean, we don't know what he's going to say. He might call an election. I think there's a 51% chance he'll do that. I don't know what he could say now that's different than what the Governor General said that he wrote 2 hours ago.
I also want to invite people to take an opportunity to super chat us, because unlike all the media that were summoned by Justin Trudeau to give him free airtime tonight during the dinner hour, the prime time, when the few number of people who actually watch the CBC are actually watching the CBC, they have to give that over to Justin Trudeau tonight. But might I invite our viewers at home to do something called a super chat, and it gives them the opportunity to support the work that we do here at Rebel News completely of their own free will. Just click the little dollar sign at the bottom of the live chat there, and you can throw some money in there. It will highlight your comment. It'll pin it to the top. Ezra or I will see it, we'll read it, we'll do our best to answer your question or address whatever comment you're trying to make to us. And it's a great way to support the work that we do here at Rebel News without Justin Trudeau reaching into your pocket to give it to us.
Yeah. I don't know what he's going to say. When do we expect the feed to come from, pardon me? At 6:30. So we've got about 20 minutes to banter before that. And Sheila, I really appreciate you mentioning super chats. I get carried away with the sound of my own voice.
I know.
But here's why I love super chats. Number one, YouTube has demonetized Rebel News along with most conservative sites. We're not down to zero monetization, but only 1/3 of our videos are allowed monetization at all. Yep. And then the type of ads that are served on our website are lower grade, not premium brands. So basically, YouTube cut our ad revenue down by 85%. And that put a lot of YouTubers out of business. We pivoted to crowdfunding, which we had already started to do. And we have paywall shows. You have one, I have one. David Menzies had one. So this super chat is a way for us to claw back some of the viewership dough, but instead of ads paid for by advertisers, it's actually sort of a crowdfunding way of doing shows. So for those of you who chip in, whether it's $5 or $50, I even saw a super chat one time, $400. I think that was the highest super chat we've ever received. Shocking, amazing, and we don't get 100% of that dough. Google keeps 30% of it, which I think is a pretty stiff commission, but we do get 70% of it. And it's a way to keep paying the bills around here. It's actually made a real difference to our income.
Yeah, and can I tell you my prediction for what Justin Trudeau's message will be tonight? I think it's a big, fat, ugly nothing burger. You know what I think he's doing here?
What?
I think he's ragging the puck. I think that he is just trying to kill the news cycle, because that throne speech was as socialist as anything I've ever seen in this country. And he's trying to suck up all the oxygen in the news cycle, at least through the dinner hour, so that the opposition parties don't have a chance to respond in kind to what just happened today. That's what I think this is all about. I don't think we're going to hear anything remotely interesting. However, it wouldn't be the first time that Trudeau has disappointed me.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point. We just had a very substantive, very long throne speech. I mean, you can disagree with it or agree with it. You can say some of it is vague, but there was a lot in there. There's a lot to talk about. My show tonight, pardon me, that'll be on at 8 p.m., I take 19 excerpts from it, 18 stupid things he said, and one good thing he said. I give him credit. He mentioned Michael Spavor and Michael Kovrig, the two Canadians held hostage in Beijing. He didn't say much. He just said, we expect them to re-release. Well, at least he said that. That's better than nothing. Not much better than nothing, but it is better than nothing. So that's the one thing good about the throne speech. I point out 18 kooky things in it. So there's a lot there. But I think maybe it's jealousy. He doesn't want, it was spoken by the Governor General. Julie Payette, who I think looked great, by the way. I don't know why I'm mentioning that, other than she's been so demonized by the media for the past few weeks. And as I said earlier today, Sheila, originally I was on side with the demonization because, like everyone in official Ottawa, she lives high off the hog. She spends our money like it's her money. There's a lot to dislike about everyone in the leadership elite of this country. But when it became clear to me that she was having these strategic leaks against her by Trudeau, then I said, well, hang on. This is internal politics. This isn't people in Rideau Hall upset with Julie Payette. This is Trudeau trying to damage her in some way, maybe because she would stand between him and something unconstitutional. Maybe if he wanted to call a snap election in this emergency crisis when two opposition leaders have the COVID, maybe she would say, whoa, that's not a good idea. So this was his way of destabilizing her. I thought she looked great. Those ribbons, that white suit, I thought she did a good job. And the only reason I say that is because it's in contrast to the 2 months of hate we've had directed at her. But maybe Trudeau is just so petty, he doesn't want her to be in the media clips tonight. He just will restate what she said, so he's in the media clips tonight, not just knocking out the opposition MPs, but knocking out Julie Payette. How dare she take even a day's worth of media coverage away from the young prince?
Well, and yeah, there's nothing that that the government, as in the Liberal Party, is finding out about Julie Payette now that they didn't know before they appointed her.
Yeah.
But they knew about her personality and why she left one of her other jobs, and some of her history with the. So, she's just a convenient scapegoat right now to change the channel away from the WE scandal. And, she's just behaving generally like governor generals behave, or governors general behave in Ottawa. It's the gravy train with biscuit wheels. She's just doing what they do. We do have a bunch of super chats already, though, that maybe we should get to before they get away on us and we end up in the middle of Justin Trudeau's special message to the country.
19 minutes, so start blazing away.
Okay, JD gives us $2. CTV Edmonton has made a new virus called COVID-69. Okay.
That's funny.
Yes, whatever. Corey Very gives us $5. Where did Sheila get the hoodie from? Sheila got the hoodie from the CCFR store. You can go to firearmsrights.ca and get your own. It helps fund their legal challenge against the unconstitutional gun grab of Justin Trudeau on May 1st in the middle of a pandemic. So, ladies and men's over there. And I'm not sponsored. I just really like what they're doing. Rapid Biz Tools gives us $10, says, what recourse will Canadians have if draconian laws are put in place similar to those that have cropped up in Australia? How can we best defend our freedoms?
Well, I'll take a crack at that. I have been shocked and saddened by how meekly our brothers and sisters in fellow Commonwealth countries, with whom I feel a great kinship, New Zealand, Australia, and the United Kingdom itself, have rolled over while their civil liberties have been violated by their own governments. I'm stunned by it, actually. But I shouldn't be stunned, because even here in Canada, our so-called Canadian Civil Liberties Association has done absolutely nothing during this whole infringement of civil liberties in this country. And in a small way, Rebel News has tried to fill that gap. We've taken 11 civil liberties cases for ordinary people. And I would hope that we would try to fill some of the void, but we're a tiny little group here. It's got to be more. But the media has bought off. And Sheila, I got to say it, the Conservative Party, which has the largest opposition in Parliament, I think, ever. I think there's more opposition MPs in the Conservative Party than any other opposition party in history. Correct me if I'm wrong on that little piece of parliamentary trivia. But where have they been? There's been some criticisms of the spending side here, but I'm actually not that, of course I'm worried about the debt and taxes and spending, of course. But I'm much more worried about the civil liberties. And I have not heard, maybe, you correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe I missed it, Sheila. I can't follow everything in the world. But where has been the railing against our civil liberties? At any level of government, I don't see it. In fact, Doug Ford has been cheering Trudeau and Theresa Tam and Chrystia Freeland. So the media is not helping, the opposition parties aren't helping, the Conservative parties aren't helping. It feels very lonely. And I'm worried that just as other Commonwealth countries have fallen, Canada could fall also, and very quickly.
Well, we've heard some opposition to it from the usual places in the Conservative Party. And when I say that, I mean basically just Derek Sloan.
Well, there you go. He's now a backbencher.
Yeah.
He has been given no credit by Aaron O'Toole. He's been marginalized in his own party.
Yeah.
Now, granted, Aaron O'Toole's only had a few weeks, but you don't need a lot of time to make a statement. And I think that the Conservatives are afraid of being outside the safety in numbers.
Yep.
Every politician is doing this, even if it's wrong. Stay with them, or you might be picked off.
Yeah.
I'm worried about that. Anyhow, I'm spending too much time answering that question. We got to keep going because we have other super chats. But I just wanted to say those words.
Well, and Jason Kenney here in Alberta has said, you know, when there were some arrests made at the legislature at a protest for or against the gun grab, the people were social distancing. The sheriffs moved in. Jason Kenney said he wanted an investigation into how that arrest happened. So really, it's just been those two.
Yeah.
David Lundquist gives us $5. Trudeau is a cancer upon this country, but our country is great, and we will survive Trudeau. Glenn Gardner gives us $20. No comment, just support. Well, thank you very much, Glenn. That's
Give me
very
1 second. I'm going to butt in.
Sure.
In
Please.
regards to David Lundquist, our country is great and we will survive Trudeau. I think that's right. But I just read a terrifying essay in First Things. I don't generally read things that long. But it was about the intelligentsia in Russia during the Russian Revolution. And there was so much terrorism. Like, you think Antifa and Black Lives Matter and bombing and riots and shootings are new? They are not new. It was commonplace in Russia 100 plus years ago. Now, that's not the first time. There have been bombings, 1848. There has been uprisings forever. You could even refer to the French Revolution. But what this essay in First Things terrified me, can you find that? Can you find, Alan Bokhari tweeted it, First Things, Russia intelligent. Those words should find it. I scared myself when I read this because it was about how the intelligentsia, do you know what I mean by that? The self-described intellectuals. Intelligentsia doesn't necessarily mean you're intelligent. Doesn't necessarily mean you're educated. It's people who fancy themselves the arbiters of society, the secondhand dealers of information. They cheered the violence, the terrorism. They defended it. They distinguished violence on our side from other criminal violence or terrorism that they wouldn't like. And what this article, this essay in First Things argued was that sometimes the pendulum does not swing back. Sometimes it swings all the way through and there's no back. Where's the swing back? And I wouldn't assign this reading to anyone unless you want to spend like hours. It took me an hour to read this thing. Firstthings.com, Russia intelligent, if you're Googling it. And so, yes, hopefully I think we can recover. America has recovered from Obama largely. But there are some things that can't be redone once they're undone. Some civil liberties once lost cannot easily be refound. And look at the century that Russia suffered. There was no swing back because the fancy people, the intelligentsia said this violence is correct and it's even correct when used against total wiping out of, anyway, I'm going on too long, but this reminded me that the darkness of violence, which I see in America in the riots, and the extremism that's seeping into politics, sometimes you don't come back from it, Sheila. There it is, that's the one. I'll dig it up and I'll send it to you. Sheila, you keep talking to shut me up.
It's funny because there comes a time where there's no memory of normal, where there's no baseline. And if we continue down this road with Trudeau, there's no recent memory of what it was like before him. And it just becomes the normal. And I think some of that happened in Russia. Sean O'Vision gives us $10, says, good tweet today, Ezra, you're right. First it was masks, but now politicians continuing the pandemic panic on fake numbers and the sheeple cheering them on is the new form of virtue signaling. Yeah, it's mask virtue, isn't it? Kean was on the receiving end of some of that today from the mainstream media. Kean wasn't wearing a mask, and I guess they got pretty scoldy with him.
Yeah.
Weird Al, 333 gives us $50. Thank you very much, Weird Al. says, hello, Rebel News is awesome. Thank you very much, Weird Al. Fort Mech gives us $5. Hello from Fort McMurray. We are battling our city council for imposing this tyrannical mask bylaw. Freedom is dying here too. What are the infection rates like in Fort McMurray? They have to be astronomically low, especially with the camps basically shut down up there. So again, we're imposing these mask mandates at the very end of the pandemic. Schmelmafinga, very well. $5. Thank you. I don't see a super chat. Keith Baxter, 1984. Says, come on, Super Chat fans. If 100 people donate 1984, I'll donate $1,984. Keith Baxter, thank you, but be careful what you wish for. Thomas Blaho gives us $50. Again, thank you very much. Thanks for what you guys do. PPC next election, one vote at a time. Ezra, you want to take it from here?
Sure. I just sent Justin, I sent that link, and I promise we're not going to take 10 more minutes on my Russia thing. Sorry.
Thoughtless gesture. Jester.
Okay, sorry. Which is the last one you just read there?
The next one you need to read is Thoughtless Jester. $5.
Okay. There we go. There we go. $5. Taking bets on Trudeau announcing he is openly gay as a way to solidify his spot as PM, because anyone who doesn't vote for him is clearly a bigot. That's funny, but it's not impossible. He would do anything like that in two ways. Number one, to try and do the identity politics. There's a ton of identity politics in the throne speech. And number two, if a man can pretend to be black by dressing up in blackface, if a man can pretend to be a feminist even though he gropes, why can't he self-identify as gay? I'll read some more. Sorry. My numbers here are bouncing around a little bit because, here we go. Jeff Perry, $10. Thanks very much, Jeff. Schmelmafinga. Okay, you silly. $5. I know you guys don't fully support Wexit, but what other option do we have? Oh, I'm very interested in Wexit. I just think we got to end some of the goofiness and get a little bit more serious and work through and work out the ideas. I don't know. I haven't followed it that closely since the renaming, but there has to be an intellectual basis. There has to have a national consensus. People have to understand what it means. And I don't know if any progress has been made on that in the past year. Granted, the pandemic has seized the nation's attention, but I don't. If there was a referendum today, it would fail absolutely, because no one knows what they're voting for.
Well, and there has to be a careful way to do this. If the Wexit movement wants their own political party, what happens when they draw support away from the Federalist UCP and then Rachel Notley becomes leader of the province again? There has to be a way to do this that involves a referendum and a political movement within the Conservative movement as opposed to the Conservative movement.
Let's whip through some more here. Again, Schmelmafinger, Sheila, you are my hero. Ezra, you too, but she's just easier to listen to. I love you guys for listening. Thank you. It's true. I get too distracted, like my rant about Russia and the intelligentsia. I mean, come on, that never ended. Germany, ball, $4. Canada's going to become the next USSR. God forbid. GJ, $10. Ezra raised the idea of Wexit a while back. Could the GOP Trump consider statehood for Alberta and BC to balance acceptance of Puerto Rico and DC by Dems? U.S. election thoughts as well on your end. Well, isn't that interesting? Because, for example, Donald Trump said he wanted to buy Greenland. If Trump said something like that about Alberta, there would be all sorts of huffing and puffing. How dare you? How dare you? But you know what? It would make...
I'm listening.
In a tiny bit, would make Canadians say, oh, no, you can't have Alberta. We like Alberta. Just to spite Trump. You know, just like Trump said maybe hydroxychloroquine works, so every leftist doctor said, oh, I'm not prescribing hydroxychloroquine, because Trump said it. So Trump said, I really like Alberta. And I don't think Canada takes it seriously, and we wouldn't take it for granted. And hey, Alberta, you're welcome to come here. I think just to spite him, every leftist would say, well, we like Alberta more, and no, Alberta can't leave. I think Trump saying that he likes Alberta, every anti-Trumper would say, well, we like Alberta more. You can't have it. We love Alberta. Come back here. It would take Trump to do it. Do you want to whip through some more?
Sure. Linda Brown gives us $50. Thank you very much, Linda Brown. Do you think that Singh will vote against the throne speech? I'm not even sure what Singh knows what he's going to do right now. I think he has no idea because this was an NDP throne speech.
Yeah.
So what's the complaint from Singh, that he didn't get to say it?
I got to refresh my memory as to the vote count, head count, nose count. But I think the Bloc Québécois have more seats than the NDP. Is that correct? Am I misremembering that?
I think you might be right.
All right.
And if not, someone can correct us in the super chat.
Right.
Annie gives us $20. I don't see a super chat. Thank you very much. MEC gives us $5. After listening to Rebel Independence, I can never follow CBC mainstream ever again. Thank you. No, thank you. And I'm so sorry that you were lied to for so long.
Let me just jump in. I see here that the NDP has 24 seats. The Bloc has 32.
Yeah.
So I think I've got that right here in party standings. Okay, back to you.
Okay. Adin Armour gives us $50. Thank you very much, Adin. If you are in the West and don't vote Wexit, provincially and federally, you are the problem. Move to the East if you enjoy being a free-range human living on a tax farm. Matthew Phillips gives us $6.99. Good job in Hampton, New Brunswick, Sheila. Thank you. Yeah. I let out a sigh of relief on Carly Parrish's 15.1% total votes. I think she wrangled up 1,000 votes, and she bragged about knocking over 10,000 doors. So she couldn't even convert 1 in 10 hearts and minds to her cause.
Sheila, I got to tell you this. We've published about, 14,000, 15,000 videos of Rebel News over the years. And some of them I've watched 2 or 3 times because I really liked them. I really liked our, when we went in mass to the Toronto City Hall with security and lawyers. That was one of my favorite moments. But I have to say, the video I have watched the most times is your video with Walter Matheson. It
no
was
way.
Perfect Rebel video. And it had a perfect ending. And by the way, your little series on Walter, coming up to 1 million views, the different videos. I just want to tell you, and I'm not surprised that Matthew Phillips singles that out. That was perhaps the finest video we've ever produced. Not the most expensive, not the most exotic,
nope.
Not the most dramatic.
Nope.
We didn't fly. We've been all over the world. You've been all over the world.
Yep.
But just in terms of fighting for freedom, helping the little guy, beautifully told, narrative arc, and then let's do something about it. Let's get the lawyer. Here's how you help. It was the perfect Rebel video. I think I've watched that 5 times.
Well, Walter Matheson made it really easy because he did a lot of the journalism on his own, and he has a great story. He tells it in a great way, and it's just so ridiculous. It's everything I can't stand about these COVID regulations wrapped up into one tight little package with a spunky older gentleman right in the heart of it. So
I've talked to him a couple of times. I called him a few months ago, and then I called him last week. I'm not going to say we're buddies or anything. I don't want to pretend I'm more friends with him than you are, though I sort of wish I was. But he obviously has me in his phone because when I called, he said, "Hi, Ezra," which was sort of fun. I told him I regret that we wouldn't have a chance to meet at the trial in Hampton. But I don't know, that just was such great. I know we got to get back to these super chats because we got to keep an eye on the clock, but I just wanted, I'm glad that Mathieu mentioned that video. I'll read a few more here. Shmel Mavinga, 1994, Keith Baxter, thanks. Annalisa S., $14, damn internet at work has sucked. I finally can send a super chat now that I'm at home. Keep up the great work. Well, thank you, Annalisa. The Great Awakening, $5. Did the crime minister already speak? Trudeau is up in 2 minutes, I think. Jane Bray, $5. Go Rebel. Thank you. Thomas Bleho, $50. That is so nice. Thank you, Thomas. Wexit line starts northwest off Algonquin Park, though. That's funny because that's if that's the Algonquin Park, I think you mean that's in Ontario. It's a beautiful park, by the way. Kate, $5. Thank you. Our only individual faith and freedom will keep us free. All our MPs are sellouts. It will depend on how we react. The useful idiots will sink us all. I wouldn't say all the MPs are sellouts. I wouldn't say that. But some of them are shy, some of them aren't permitted to speak out, and we don't know what Aaron O'Toole is like yet as a leader. We don't know what his rules are for what you can say and what you can't. So we have to find that out a little bit. Do you want to take a couple more, Sheila?
Sure. Prairie Rider gives us $2.79. Why did the CDC change the status of COVID to outbreak? I didn't see that. But I will write it on my list of things to look into. Kind Roofing gives us $10. Build Back Better is more than Joe Biden's election slogan. It's a globalist agenda for reinventing a post-capitalism society disguised as economic recovery pushed by the UN and more. Gigi said it 3 times. Yeah, I heard it said 3 times. However, I did go outside to unload some groceries in the middle of it. Mario Milinovsky gives us $5. Every Canadian with any doubt in government, regardless of party, should protest on the street.
On the street, I think that's a good point because police have a clear double standard. Your Black Lives Matter, your Antifa, they're not going to hassle you. But, I mean, oh my God, I would invite people to see our videos from our new Australian correspondent, Avi Yamini. The double standard there is shocking. Go to standwithavi.com if you haven't seen it yet. I'm so pleased. He's tell you, thrown right into the battle. Me, see, $5. My family came to Canada in the early 1900s, ran from Bolsheviks. Thank you for your thorough reporting. Canadians need to be informed. Oh, the darkness. Lenin, Stalin, it continued and it spread to Mao. The most brutal ideology in the world and one that Trudeau admires, whether it's Cuba or Trudeau's father admiring the Soviets or China. Trudeau's father went to the Soviet Union and to communist China before he was a politician. He went there because he believed in these places. He went to Siberia. He took his kids to Siberia, Pierre Trudeau, and said
he broke the embargo with Cuba. Yeah. He broke the embargo with Cuba, which is a stark departure from our allyship with the Americans.
Yeah. John Hamm, $20. Thanks for reporting. Oh, here we go. Let's watch.
Gotta go.
Here we go.
Let's now listen to the
fellow Canadians. I want to speak directly to you. West. Good afternoon. Canada is at a crossroads. I want to speak directly to you.
Oh, we're just working on getting the right audio there. Please stay with us. Don't go away.
Should I keep whipping through these super chats then while we wait?
Yeah, here we go.
Okay.
I think we're just replacing Sheila's audio feed with the audio from Trudeau.
All worked together, and we managed to bring down COVID-19. However, now the virus is turning in the country.
Establishing a national formulary to keep drug prices
It's already underway.
And working with provinces and territories
Back on March 13th,
willing to move
when we went into
forward
lockdown, there were 47 new cases of
En plus d'une
COVID-19.
bonne infrastructure de santé,
Yesterday alone,
les Canadiens doivent
In addition to
well
good
over
health
1,000.
infrastructure,
We're on the brink of a fall that could be much worse than the spring. I know this isn't the news that any of us wanted to hear. And we can't change today's numbers or even tomorrow's. Those were already decided by what we did or didn't do 2 weeks ago. But what we can change is where we are in October and into the winter. It's all too likely we won't be gathering for Thanksgiving, but we still have a shot at Christmas. Together, we have the power to get this second wave under control. I know we can do it because we've already done it once before. In the spring, we all did our part by staying home. And this fall, we have even more tools in the toolbox. People are wearing masks. That's critical, so keep it up. We've got the COVID Alert app. Take the teacher who felt fine, but who tested positive after the app warned her she'd been exposed. COVID Alert meant she went home instead of the classroom. It's a powerful, free tool that's easy to use and protects your privacy. So if you haven't already, download it off the App Store or Google Play. It's one more way to keep ourselves and others safe. Another is to get your flu shot this fall. Les gestes qu'on pose aujourd'hui
What we do today will make all the difference with what will happen within 2 weeks or in 2 months. Do wear a mask. That save lives. And keep your distance with people. And have the flu shot. Get the flu shot and listen to what Dr. Tam yesterday. Do restrict your social circle and avoid taking risks which are not necessary. This is not the time to hold parties. Nobody is invincible, and nor are our loved and near ones. So we shouldn't lower our guard, even in places where the number of cases is still low. And please, everybody, do download the Alert COVID app. It is easy, It is free, it protects your private life, and it will help you yourself and people around you.
All of us, as Canadians, to do our part for our country as government does its part for you. There is a covenant between government and the people government serves. You need to know that you can rely on us just like you can rely on each other. Alors qu'on fait face à cette crise,
as we're confronting this crisis, as we are ready to rebuild the country, we will keep staying here for you. And the government has submitted a plan with 4 pillars to meet the crisis. Firstly, we need to protect the health of people. And the actions taken by our parents and grandparents, the generation which confronted the Great Depression and World War II, remind us that we have to be resilient and patient during a crisis. They have built today's world, and it is now for us to build tomorrow's world, starting with protection for our elders who built our world. And in the situation for too many people in long-term care homes is unacceptable. It's time for it to change, and it will change. And in the spring, we sent our armed forces to help, and the Red Cross is still working there. So we will start working as of today with the provinces and territories in order to establish new national standards for long-term care.
One is keeping people safe. That's why we're signing deals on multiple potential vaccines, on therapeutics, on personal protective equipment. In fact, because we mobilized this spring, Canadians are now producing almost every type of PPE we need. We're helping the provinces and territories ramp up their capacity on testing while creating a federal response team for surge demand. And as soon as there's approval for faster tests to be used safely, we'll get them out across the country. If you need a test, you should be able to get one and get it quickly. This is about safety, and it's about what's right for Canadians. Protecting your health is the best thing we can do for the economy. So that's what we're working on first. And that brings me to the second part of the plan, supporting Canadians through this pandemic. The federal government will have your back, whatever it takes, to help you get through this crisis. Maybe you were one of the almost 9 million people who used the Canada Emergency Response Benefit this spring. We will continue to support all those who need it with a strengthened and broadened employment insurance system. Maybe your boss was able to keep you on the job or hire you back because the emergency wage subsidy helped with the payroll. People still need this program, so we're extending it right through to next summer. Or perhaps you're a business owner needing extra help to bridge to better times. For you, among other measures, we're expanding the Canada Emergency Business Account. And there's a lot more we're going to do. Go to canada.ca/coronavirus to see what support is available right now and how to apply. I know some people are asking how we can afford to do all this for Canadians. That's fair. Low interest rates mean we can afford it. And in fact, doing less would end up costing far more. Doing less would mean a slower recovery and bigger deficits in the long run. While we're dealing with this pandemic, I don't want you or your parent or your friend to take on debt that your government can better shoulder. So yes, in the short term, we'll keep investing. But beyond the emergency, as we start to build back better, we must do that in a fiscally and sustainable way. Investing for our recovery must be done responsibly. Vous savez, la pandémie.
The pandemic has shown inequalities in our economy, but here we have the opportunity to act in order to change this. We will be building a better society for all by building a better economy for all. And this is the third pillar of our approach.
By creating a Canada-wide early learning and childcare system, we'll ensure that kids have access to care and that no parent, especially no mother, has to put their career on hold. on hold.
Sheila, you were
This
right.
pandemic has reminded
just
us all that
giving the
building
throne speech
strong
himself.
social supports is
Yeah.
essential.
He doesn't want Julie Payette to have
Yeah.
the media clips. He doesn't want the opposition. He's so gross. I thought there would be some announcements, some news, and election. He's literally
Nope.
just giving the throne speech in his dramatic actor voice.
And
Nothing
if we
he's
act
saying
in
Julie
order
Payette
to
didn't say
eliminate
several hours ago.
homelessness,
Yeah.
we will create more prosperous communities.
He's so vain.
Because
And he
this
hates
is also
Julie
a
Payette.
solution. We
Yeah.
are creating jobs. We allow people to fulfill themselves. We all want to build a stronger country for
What a
everybody.
small man
and in
he
order
is.
to do so,
How he has
we
shrunk
need to
in the
double
5
down
years as Prime
in our
Minister.
efforts to fight climate change. This is also the best way to have a better jobs for today and for tomorrow.
Innovating
Wow.
to decarbonize. Auto workers
Decarbonize.
building zero-emission vehicles. Engineers and construction workers delivering green retrofits for our homes and buildings. These are some of the people who will create a competitive economy of the future. As we do this work, protecting people's health, supporting Canadians, building back better, we can't forget what it's all for. Making sure that everyone can participate to their full potential. And that's the final part of the plan. As a country, we must keep making progress on reconciliation with Indigenous peoples and on fighting systemic racism.
This is not an important announcement. This is the
Diversity
throne speech
is not just our
read by a
strength,
dramatic thespian.
it's our competitive
Yeah.
edge.
There's no
Nos
news here.
différences nous enrichissent.
Nothing.
He just
No.
tricks the
Our
media
differences make us
into giving
richer.
him a
Whatever
chance to read
our
the throne
creed,
speech.
our culture, our,
Yeah.
our language.
He's
In
eating
our
up
country,
the rest of
we're
the news
proud to have two
cycle so
official
that the
languages,
opposition
French
doesn't have a
and
chance
English,
to
which
respond,
we
and
continue
he thinks the
protecting.
sun can only shine on
In
one,
Canada,
and it's him.
we know that we're stronger when we are united and when we help one another and we confront the challenges together. This is what helped us manage the crisis much better than others.
Our country has been called to stand united and strong. In the face of change, our greatest generation showed us that overcoming crisis isn't easy. They didn't give up, and neither can we. To parents feeling like you can't get your life under control, to kids wondering why mom and dad can't just fix this, to seniors feeling like there's nothing you can do and thinking about all the things you can't do. That's understandable. But can't will not define us. We can bend the curve. We can build a stronger future. We can define the change. Les Canadiens, on est des gens qui disent,
In
"Je suis
Canada,
capable."
we are people who say, I'm able to do it. And for each sector, throughout the country, each of us is doing his or her best. And people who accept sacrifices, people who work hard day in, day out for one another. This is the history of the story of our first frontline workers from coast to coast to coast who never let down anyone, and they are a source of inspiration for all of us.
Croiser des chemins.
We are at a crossroads, and the future is in our hands.
There are many days to go before we get to the other side of this. But there are also many of us to get us there, so long as we each remember to do our part. And I know that we will. We are Canadians, and together, there's nothing we can't do. Prenez soin de vous, mes amis.
Take care of yourselves, my friends. Thank you.
What a loser. What a small man.
Yeah.
What a creepy guy. He can't let
Yeah.
the Governor General have her moment. Not that I am a sympathizer for the Governor General. She's part of the Ottawa elite, but he just can't let her say his words. So
Yeah.
he tricks the media party, who will love this anyways. There won't be a squawk or peep of dissent from them. He says, guys, I have something really important to say. Give me CBC, CTV, Global News. I need you to knock off your other programming. This is so important, guys. Hey guys, I need you to give me the airwaves tonight. I'm going to rock your world. So every reporter covered Julie Payette reading the throne speech at great length. The throne speech was much longer than 14 minutes. And it was with pomp and circumstance, but Trudeau was saying, how come I can't be that way? How come I can't have all the attention? How come I can't have a 21-gun salute? How come I can't have all those pins on my chest? He said, well, I can. I can. I'm going to go out 2 hours later and give a shorter version, and I'm just going to say it. And I'll get my pretty little face on TV, not hers, and everyone's going to run it. And what a little loser. What a little weird narcissist. I mean, listen, the Prime Minister has everything, but today was not his day. I'm not mad because he wants something. I'm mad because our tradition, our constitutional tradition says today is not his day. He's the head of government. The Queen is our head of state, and the Governor General is her delegate here. It was like he was snubbing the Queen, just like his father did when Queen Elizabeth repatriated the Constitution to Canada. He did that little twirly move behind her back. He's got his father's insolence without the style. What a little loser we have as a Prime Minister.
So petty. So petty. And he did it at the dinner hour, which is like news prime time. That's when everybody who has to work an actual job tunes into the news. The Governor General, she had to do her thing in the middle of the afternoon. He got prime time. The sun can only shine on his face. And, you know, he just regurgitated an abbreviated version of the throne speech. But, it was so important. And everybody had to drop everything and speculate all day long.
Yeah. What a weird loser. Sheila, let's whip through some super chats that we were so rudely interrupted by Justin Trudeau, the smallest Prime Minister in moral stature, in accomplishment, I don't want to pick on Kim Campbell because it wasn't her fault that she was thrown out. Since Joe Clark, at least he had, in his own weird way, some gravitas. I don't recall a Prime Minister as small as Justin Trudeau. This is going to be a brutal Parliament. What a weird loser. I hope the Conservatives can muster something. I hope Erin O'Toole's not going to be afraid of the media party. Jury's still out on that. I don't know. You know, the one thing I did jot down is he's talking about Thanksgiving is off, but maybe
sure it is.
We can say
for us, not
Christmas.
him.
And I wrote down, he said, we all did our part. You weird little liar. He did not do his part. He went on TV and said to everyone, you can't get together over Easter. No Easter. No Passover for the Jews. No Easter. But then he broke 4 rules, left his house, combined households, crossed into another province, and crossed into a provincial park. 4 rules he broke to meet up with his estranged wife, Sophie, so she could take some Instagram photos of their happy family together. They've been separated for 6 months. I'm not picking on them. I'm picking on the fact that that little liar said, we all did our part. No, you deceptive, wicked man. You did not do your part. You told us to do our part. And then you crossed provincial lines, went into a provincial park, mixed households. You know, that weird, lying loser.
Yeah. I put it in the live chat as he said it. How much do you guys want to bet that Justin Trudeau is not going to cancel Thanksgiving for himself? I wouldn't be surprised if this weirdo doesn't try to cancel Halloween for the nation and just be a complete and total fun burglar.
Absolutely. Well, let's get back to some super chats because we got a ton of them. It's 6:49 Eastern, 4:49 out west there. Let's see, where were we?
Our last one was John Hamm, $20. Right. Thanks for reporting what no one else does. Do you want to take it from here?
You go ahead, Sheila.
Okay, the Great Awakening gives us $5. I'm sick of our prime moistener. That's pretty good. Dr. Pierre Charbonneau gives us $20. You are amazing. Thank you very much. The Bill ABCTV gives us $5 Australian. I hope the people of Alberta get independence, either 51st state of the U.S. or our own nation. I love Rebel News. Thank you very much. I'm willing to hear what's on the table. I want to hear what the Americans are offering me before I sign up for anything. I am Play gives us $20. Keep up the good work, Rebel News. Thank you. Thank you very much. Dirt Diver 5050 gives us $15. Thank you for covering George Soros and his connections to our leaders. Stay tuned. We have another Access to Information investigation. The second half of mine is coming out tomorrow, where you'll see just exactly how deep those connections go and how George Soros' staff were basically working for our immigration minister. Let's keep going. Jane Bray gives us $5. Loved Ezra's talk about Soros today.
I think today, mainly, I just played your first video, Sheila. I did go at some great length. About a week ago, I went on for about half an hour.
Yes.
Maybe that's what Jane's referring to. I'll read some more. George Watts, $7. Thanks, George. Kristen Mater, 50 smackers. Thank you. Thank you, Rebel Team, for leading us in truth and revealing the ugly. Well, every day I do my live stream, I end with a little dog video because it's too much ugly. You have to leave on a friendly puppy note. Smell my finger, $5. There's a cartoon where Trump asked Trudeau, how much for Alberta, Frenchie? Doer, I think. Well, I'll have to dig that up. I don't think I saw that. But thank you for the tip. Tom Harris, $20. Hey, thanks, Tom. G. Zivek, $14. How about our children that have to sit for 6+ hours a day with a face covering and no recesses or water fountains? The schools are like prisons right now. It makes me sick. It's child abuse.
Sad.
It's going to mess with the kids' heads. It's super gross. And the people who cheer for that, I think freedom is wasted on them. And the speed with which our country and other countries in the Commonwealth have raced to give up hard-fought freedoms is just so gross. It's so gross, it's so depressing. It was the 80th anniversary of the Battle of Britain the other day. I saw Nigel Farage standing in front of a Spitfire. The courage of the Brits, that do-or-die spirit, that against all odds spirit. What for? What for? If they would see our generation now, they would say, hey, what's the bother? What's the bother? Why don't you take a few, Sheila?
Sure. Sir Alexander Fall gives us $2. A possible resignation.
No.
Well, no, you're disappointed, aren't you? D. Browers gives us $5. Alberta's only answer, only choice, Wildrose Independence Party. Rick Montrose gives us $5. I don't see a super chat. Hostbusters gives us $10. Our community's Freemason followers and evil reverends that worship Satan that form cult towns, is it possible they are fueling the fire with ludicrous while pushing the agenda? That includes police. I'm not sure what you mean there. Kate gives us $2. Gaslighting is the only transparency Canada got. Peter Mannion, MP, gives us $10. Could you ask President Trump to put in a word for Quebec as well? Trudeau would soon wind up alone. Charlie UK gives us $20. I'm sorry. You guys are the real news source. Thanks so much. Keep up all your great work. Thank you. MOC9M gives us $5. Winterize your windows. It's going to be a cold winter. Sophie knows. She prefers using black. Oh my goodness. Black cock. Fucking Guy gives us $5. Sheila reads all of my super chats this afternoon. Ezra read all except both of mine. Oh,
did I miss them or something? Well, I'm sorry if I missed them. I tried to read all the super chats. I don't understand how that happened.
If they were missed, maybe Justin could find those and we'll read them on air tomorrow, David and I. Albert Viersteig gives us $20. I don't see a super chat. That's very generous. Brad Harris gives us $28. Thank you. Deplorabella gives us $20. Why are there military vehicles being transported via rail across Canada? I'm not a conspiracy theorist when it comes to that sort of stuff. They're doing military staging all summer long and training, and then they just redeploy them back to where they were. And holy, there's still so many more. Veterans Voice, Chris Semchuk, you're a regular donor, regular viewer. Thank you very much. Chris gives us $20.99. You mean the covenant to veterans that the government should be honoring, Justin? Is that why we wait 5 years and 3 levels of review for a basic service-related disability claim approval? that will be one of the great shames of this nation, is how the Liberals and, frankly, other levels of government, and including the Conservatives before them, have treated our military, our veterans specifically. Jizvek, I think, gives us $6.99. We need to put Trudeau and the rest of the sick elites back on Epstein's plane with a one-way flight far, far away. Isn't it going to be interesting when all those flight logs are dumped? Isn't that going to be fantastic?
Yeah.
I hope it happens before the election.
Yeah.
Vegan Love gives us $13.99. He did not go to a very good drama school. He's at best a soap opera actor.
Oh,
yeah, he's not very good,
exactly.
is he?
And his specialty is the same audience of The View or The Social. And I know this because before he became an MP,
Yep.
and even when he became an MP, he didn't give it up. He would give endless speeches for up to 30 grand a pop. We had the same speaking agent, actually. And it was almost always to teachers' unions.
Yeah.
So basically, pink-collar, government unionized teachers who thought he was sort of hot and sexy and reminded them of his dad, and he would just come and read out Hallmark card and do your best and da-da-da, and just blather, and they ate it up. Trudeau's fan base is number one, the media party, and number two, I don't know, I think middle-aged moms who think he's just dreamy. And people say that the Conservative Party has a gender gap because more women vote for Trudeau than vote for the Conservatives, and it's true. But Trudeau has a gender gap too. More men vote Conservative than vote Liberal. That's a gender gap too. And why is that? Well, I mean, we don't have the time to get into that now, but the gender gap works both ways. And I think it's a problem that men who go out and work, especially blue-collar men, especially men who work in factories and mining and trucking and logging, you'd be lucky to find 1 in 5 who votes for Justin Trudeau. Those are the people in the economy that Trudeau despises, taxes, phases out, decarbonizes. And the teachers' unions, nurses' unions, clerks' unions, government workers' unions, historically they've been called pink-collar unions, and that's not a disparaging term. It just means they're office jobs by women. In this case, they're government unions. They haven't lost a dollar in the pandemic. They love the pandemic. Work from home, if at all, get fully paid. It's the blue-collar guys who are out of job, and it's, frankly, waiters, waitresses, blue-collar, entry-level workers. All right, enough demographic chit-chat from me. Mark,
are you going to take over? No, we didn't read. Yeah, you're in the right
Mark
spot.
Leskiller, $5. Thank you, Rebel News, for keeping the chat enabled, not like CBC and Global. This live is the first I see with more likes than dislikes. Yeah. The Great Awakening, $5. Joe Biden says move the teleprompter closer for him. Hey, do you have that Build Back Better link I sent you? You heard Julie Payette say it 3 times, and today Justin Trudeau said, Build Back Better. Look at this. This is Joe Biden's campaign platform. Build Back Better. Joe Biden's Jobs and Economic Recovery Plan. Build Back Better. Build Back Better. And Justin Trudeau just said, hey, I'll just plagiarize that. And I promise you he'll get away with it. I bet you $1 that no one on the CBC will point that out. Whereas if it were Make Canada Great Again, something that obvious, it would be all people would talk about and say, you're super weird. Why are you having Americans write your stuff?
Yep.
Smell my finger again, $5. The CBC has 2.3 million YouTube subscribers. Rebel has 1.4 million. Subscribers chip in. Your tax dollars are destroying Canada. Yeah, well, the CBC buys followers. So does Global. We don't. We don't have the money to. And what's the point in buying fake followers? There's no point in that. I like to say we're the largest independent news channel in Canada. Of course, we can't compete with $1.5 billion from the taxpayer that CBC receives. David Anderson, $2 narcissistic gives throne speech for the camera. Yeah. M, $5, 3 ethics investigation scandals later, and you can expect us to believe you. Stop talking to us like we're your children. Canada needs to wake up and vote. Yeah, I mean, who believes this guy now? The shine is off. I was thinking the other day when Marcy Ian, the CTV newsreader, quit her job at CTV and said she's going to run for the Liberal Party. I get that in 2015, Trudeau was bright and shiny, let's have a change, anything's possible, new, young team, the sky's the limit. But since then, the blackface disgrace, the groping disgrace, the SNC Lavalin disgrace, firing Aboriginal Justice Minister disgrace, we audit, disgrace, disgrace, disgrace. You're quitting your career to throw in with this disgraced, disreputable, convicted 3 times now, I think, under the Conflict of Interest Act. This is the man you deeply believe in. That says a lot about Marcia Ian's character. Run for, you're a Liberal, run for Trudeau. You're going to cancel your career in 2020 rather? That's sort of weird. Annalisa asks, $14. Well, listening to that got my bowels moving. I just got rid of a Trudeau. Well, that's gross. Okay, Sheila, do you want to take some more?
Sure. Noble Canadian gives us $5, no super chat. Another $5 from Noble Canadian and no super chat. MEC gives us $2. Oi. And we've got a little disappointed face there. Noble Canadian gives us $5 again. What are your coping skills to deal with all of this, Ezra and Sheila? I run a lot. I shoot things. I just generally turn off the computer and go outside. That's my coping things. Spend time with family. Ezra, I think that question's directed at you too.
I'm sorry, I was distracted for 1 second. Is our YouTube channel working well? Can I get someone in the super chat? Okay. The note you sent me, Justin, it's not, I don't think our channel went down. I'm sorry. For 1 second, I was distracted. I apologize. I just got a note that there was a problem with the channel. I'm glad there's not. What are your coping skills to deal with all this? Is that the question you're asking me, Sheila?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, I wasn't, but the super chatter was.
Well, I answered that at great length in my noon live stream today. The Rebel is a job for me. It's how I earn my living. It's also my primary source of snacks. We have a lot of food in the kitchen here. I like the people who work here.
Yeah.
But the main reason, I suppose earning a living is the main reason, but it is how I deal with the world. Because it lets me speak out without the missus saying, oh, that again? Because I can speak to
It's a good point. I can relate.
And having an opinion and sharing it and letting 1.4 million people know they're not alone.
Yeah.
And then, Sheila, when I said your video about Walter Matheson was the finest video we ever made, what I mean by that is to actually change the world a little bit. And it's hard to have huge victories. There's no way Rebel News is going to knock Justin Trudeau out of the Prime Minister's office. We could chip away, chip away, chip away. But that's an enormous battle that needs millions of people. But if we bring our focus and our might and our skills and our talent and our resources to bear on a small battle, well, it looks small maybe to the world, but it's certainly big for Walter Matheson.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can actually have a little win. And every once in a while, we can have a not so little win. Like when Justin Trudeau's hand-picked debates commission banned us and banned our friends at True North from covering the debates. We ran to federal court emergency application, and we won, and we won, and we won. And so the way I cope personally, if I understand what you're asking me, is that I try to fight the world every day. I try and wrestle with it every day, knowing I'm going to lose most times, but keeping going because of the hope that we will have a win. And when we have a win, letting everyone know that it's not impossible. Pope John Paul II used to say, where there's life, there's hope. I think he's not the only Catholic to say that, but I like that saying, where there's life, there's hope. And there's a more brutal way of saying that, which is, if it's so hopeless, why is the other side so desperate? Like if we really were losing so badly, then why is the other side going so crazy? Maybe it's not as hopeless as we think. And I quote the Catholic Pope, I quote the Bible, I have all these quotes in my head. Today
We're going to get you. We're going to get you,
I
Ezra.
quoted John Donne. Today I quoted King James Version, John, you know, several times. Let me quote from a Jewish book, and again, it's not a quote because my memory doesn't have the words exactly. You know, that when the good man, when the tzaddik, when the holy man, the righteous man goes to heaven, or when the evil man, the sinner, the malignant man, when they find out how close, I'm not doing this right, I'm not telling the story well because it's a story I heard 20 years ago. The righteous man, how close he is to falling off, how many temptations there are, and he takes one step, he'd fall off, he would be shocked. But same thing for the wicked man. If he only knew, he could just take one step over into goodness. If he only knew how close he was to coming back to the path. I'm not telling that story well, but there's a drop of hope there. There's a drop of caution. You're a holy guy, you're doing well. You take one, if you only knew how close you were to falling off the ledge. But same thing to if you only knew how close you were to coming back to the path. And so, when things look tough, when things look desperate, maybe it's just around the corner. You know, another saying, it's always darkest before the dawn. Maybe the other side is exhausted. Maybe the other side is having trouble coping. Maybe the other side is putting on a brave face, but they can't believe they're stuck with Justin Trudeau for a leader. Maybe the other side says, you know, fake it till you make it. I can't believe we're getting away with this. Maybe there's a ton of people who have doubt. So you may think that you're seeing everything, but I don't think the other side, like there was I don't think it was in Trudeau's speech, but it was in Julie Payette's speech today about censoring the internet. Why would they want to censor the internet? They own the CBC, that's more than the rest of the media combined. They have the newspapers on the payroll now with the $600 million bailout. What's that, like another 90% of the print in this country. They have the magazines already. They have grants for websites like the National Observer. The number of independent, conservative-oriented critics in the media has got to be less than 1%. Now, we punch above our weight. We have 1.4 million subscribers. Why would they be so desperate to silence us? Why would they be so obsessed with it? I understand that today, Kian Bexley had a run-in with Catherine McKenna on the streets of Ottawa, and she shouted at him something about, oh, we got to shut up the rebel, the rebel, the rebel, the rebel. Why would she be so obsessed? She has everything. Power, riches, a close personal relationship with the Prime Minister. She has everything a gal could want. She has the media eating out of the palm of her hand. She has the CBC at her beck and call. Why would she care about us, Sheila? Well, maybe, if my analogy from the Talmud, I don't think I told that story well, but maybe we're closer than we think. Maybe we're not losing. Maybe we're closer than we think to winning. And maybe the other side, they're winning, but maybe we're closer than we think to losing. And maybe, give me the vote count. What was the vote count? What was the election 2019 Canada results? We think, oh my God, we're losing. And I'm a pessimist most of the time. Trudeau got 33.12%. Trudeau got 33%. In fact, Blandrew Scheer got 34%. So maybe it looks terrible, but maybe the losers who got 33%, that vain, spent, dissolute, I'm thinking of a tweet you made, Sheila, what Trudeau looked like in the past, young, hot, sexy. Now he's got the divorced college professor living in the van vibe with that beard.
Volvo, I said Volvo, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that tweet you made that made me laugh. Maybe only losers like Marcy Ian, I don't know what she's, I mean, she had a fine job as a newsreader. Well, I mean, seriously, I don't know what got in her mind. Maybe If my analogy about one step away from good, one step away from evil, and maybe my friend Yankee, who surely knows the Toyota and the Talmud better than me, can correct me. But my point there, the reason why that analogy came to mind and that half-baked lesson that I heard 20 years ago is remembered to me now, is because maybe it's closer than we think. And maybe the other side is not as strong as we think. And this is when I rail against folks who say QAnon and Norman Traversy and private prosecutions and Trudeau's got an ankle bracelet. And I like all those people, and they always think I'm attacking them. I'm not. I'm saying don't fill your life and your mind and your hopes with fantasies. How about come and work?
Yeah.
Don't rely on some deus ex machina. Don't rely on some miracle to get rid of Trudeau. That ain't going to do it. How about knock on a door? How about start a blog? How about call into a talk show? How about make a comment? How about do something? Some people have money. Some people have time. Some people chat. Some people, there's a million things to do. Don't think you need a miracle like QAnon. I know there's more to QAnon. There's the child trafficking aspects of that belief system. But I say to people, how about stay real and work? How about stay real and work? I believe that Rebel News is a work. It's a way to work for the better world. And you may think, Ezra, shut up with the messianic. No, it's not messianic. It's the opposite. This is where you work. You think there's a problem? Come and work. That's what I think. That's what I think of the Rebel.
Well, you just reminded me of that man that David interviewed who put up a big Libranos poster on the side of his building.
Yeah, let's get the viz for that, Justin.
It doesn't have to be a miracle. I know for me, Rebel News is like the pressure valve on a pressure cooker. And so like I can do my political, talk about all the things that make me angry and annoy me so that my regular life is just regular. I can sort of keep the two separate. But, when you see things like that this man that voted for Justin Trudeau in 2015, his heart and mind was changed incrementally by the work that we do. And so in response to that, he did the same. He's out there now trying to change hearts and minds and open people's eyes in the very same way. It doesn't have to be some conspiracy that is uncovered. It's slowly but surely hard work every day, and this is how people's minds are changed one at a time.
Yeah, we're showing that on the screen right now. I didn't even know this guy did it. He just got the artwork off the website. Friendly guy. He said he voted Trudeau in 2015. He read the book and was turned around. That is an incredible story. That book is well footnoted. There's a ton of stuff in that book. That book didn't hit #1 until after Trudeau tried to ban it. All right, don't mind me and my ramble.
I think their next super chat is Thomas Blaho, $55. Thank you very much. Amazon is hiring. Business is booming there. How thick was the envelope you got, Justin? Isn't that funny, hey? The billionaires are getting richer during this pandemic, and your local guys are going under. It's safe to shop at Costco. It's safe to shop at Walmart. It's safe to work in an Amazon warehouse, but your local church is too dangerous.
Well, that was the sucking and blowing and the flip-floppery, even in the throne speech and Trudeau's comments. You hate the big tech companies, but your lockdown is what's doubling their size.
Yeah.
It doesn't compute. You want everyone to be locked down, but you want but we're going to get out of this economic mess. Doesn't compute. Let's whip through these. I don't know why I went on a 30-minute soliloquy, badly quoting 3 different competing religious texts.
We're not competing. We're working together.
That's right. That's right. There's the old book, the new book. I like Pope John Paul, the phrase, the older brothers. That's a friendly phrase. Laura Finch, $5. New World Order, no thank you. Prorogues Parliament again. All I have to say is Venezuela. Well, it's funny you say that. Venezuela, 100 years ago, was one of the wealthiest countries in the world. I think it was the 4th highest income in the world 100 years ago. Or top 20 for sure. You wouldn't think so. You'd say, what? Venezuela? Yeah. Am I thinking Venezuela? I think I am. Anyways, we're not going to go down that rabbit hole right now. Wonderfully wealthy country. Yeah, throw that on the screen. I was right. What do you think? I remember that little factoid. No Joe Biden moment here. Throw that on the screen and find that, Justin. There you go. Economy of Venezuela. Okay, okay, it's just Wikipedia. Where was that fourth, that thing you were talking about? There we go. In 1950, Venezuela was the world's fourth wealthiest nation per capita. Click on that footnote 40 there. Click on that, and then click on click on that. Venezuela,
Wow.
in 1950, Venezuela was the world's fourth richest country per capita. I can't even believe that. Like, how? Richer than Canada? Richer than Australia? Richer than Sweden or Denmark or Netherlands and Belgium and France? How? And then socialism took it down. What do you think of that? I remember that factoid. Are you impressed? Thank you. Jack R, $5. JT thinks we need him to save us. All we need for him to get out of our way, and we will take care of ourselves. Arrogant narcissist, step down. Yeah, he ain't stepping down. Birdley 74, 50 smackers, 50 clams. Thank you. I went for a vaccine trial for COVID-19. You did, eh? The one from Russia. Are you serious? I wanted to let you all know that it's completely safe.
Well done.
Look at how this guy's writing this. He's writing it in Cyrillic with no side effects whatsoever. And I feel oh my God, it's so funny.
Good.
You know, we can't see this. It's written in Cyrillic. He starts writing it. That is funny. I wonder if we can show that on the screen, Justin. I know that moment passed, but that is funny. That's very funny. Birdley 74. Oh, that's good. Well, we'll see. We're going to try and show that on the screen. Yeah. Can you pump that up a little bit? I feel хорошо. I don't know. I can't read Cyrillic. Немного. I'm not going to read anymore because I don't need to embarrass myself anymore. But I can read the word хорошо. Okay, let's keep going. It's very funny. Merry Christmas, $5. Repent and be baptized in Jesus' name, Acts 2:37-38. This is the only way to heaven. $10 from InfMDA. Ezra and Sheila, you two nailed it. Our Marxist dictator want to be just launched an insurrection on the news cycle. Yeah, he can't have a day where he's not the star.
I don't have a crystal ball. I have a crystal mind, and I knew. There's something I know about Justin Trudeau. He's petty and he's vain. And so that's why I knew he was going to say nothing. You
know, Teddy Roosevelt, who one of the greatest Americans, greatest men, I think it was his daughter, I just got it here, who said, like, he was such a big personality, and it's 100 years ago, but you can tell. She said, my father always wanted to be the corpse at every funeral, the bride at every wedding, and the baby at every christening. Isn't that a wonderful description? And you know it's true. And if Justin Trudeau isn't the star of everything, but Barack Obama was the same way.
Yes.
He would do a tweet about some famous person passing away, and he happened to be in every photo somehow. It wasn't about him, but yet it was always about him. The corpse at every funeral, the baby at every baptism. Quite an incredible way to describe someone. But at least Teddy Roosevelt was an incredible man. You can disagree with certain things, but my God, was he a man. Do you want to read a few?
Sure. Robert Fraser gives us $20. I say screw Trudeau and we all enjoy Thanksgiving and stick it to the government. Yeah. The government's not going to stop my Thanksgiving, and they certainly are not getting in between me and giving neighborhood kids candy and scaring the daylights out of them. Matthew Phillips gives us $2.79. Sophie is estranged from our glorious leader. Well, what would you describe a wife living apart from her husband for at least 6 months? I would say that that's estranged.
Yeah, I mean, they were estranged before that. Sometimes she wears her wedding ring, sometimes she doesn't. They're often apart. She traveled en luxury with we to Europe, and
London.
I'm not saying that she had an intimate relationship with who's that Bond actor that got sick and said Idris Elba.
Idris Elba.
He's a pretty good actor. He's got a real range. He was in The Office.
I liked him in The Office.
Yeah, and I thought he was pretty cool. He can be pretty cool in a lot of action movies. He said that he got the COVID from her, and he was very specific about it. And that implies that they didn't just meet, like he would have met a ton of people.
Yeah.
I find it a very curious question, and I guarantee you that had it been the wife of a conservative leader, had it been Melania Trump, had it been Laureen Harper, there would have been a few questions asked. There's Idris Elba. He's even funny. He's even in some, I think he was in Finding Nemo, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, so how did he know he got it from Sophie Gregoire Trudeau? I don't know, but he was quite certain of it.
And it seems to me that everything Justin Trudeau and Sophie have done in the last year has been painfully awkward. There's that where they're standing in some sort of farmyard.
Yeah.
He's wearing they're both wearing plaid. It's very staged and they're very robotic and awkward when they're talking to each other.
Yeah,
and then during the campaign, she was nowhere to be seen.
Mm-hmm.
Normally the leader and the wife campaign together. Oh yeah, look
they're
at
very romantic. They're very passionate.
Yeah, look at that. This
very, very
like you can
passionate.
feel the love there.
Oh yeah. Yes. Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Done.
Yeah.
Okay. Move away.
Oh, she's looking for the scope. Like she doesn't want that on her mouth anymore. But during the campaign, she was in BC door knocking. She wasn't even with him. So I don't know. There's a lot to examine there. Rebecca Bull gives us $15. Keep pulling out copper and nickel for the batteries, but not the oil.
That's such a good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
He was yeah.
Yeah, they talked a lot about natural resources. They just don't mean fossil fuels.
Yeah.
MEDW gives us $5. Now that Sneaky P sends 5 Brampton police cars after Rebel, do you think Justin will send the entire Canadian Army against journalism?
Well, we'll see, because I haven't seen, none of us have seen the new mandate letters. I presume that with the new parliament, there'll be new mandate letters. That's a job description for cabinet ministers.
Yep.
Thankfully, a lot of the job descriptions, a lot of the mandate letters for past cabinet ministers were undone because of the pandemic.
Yep.
But I note that the number 2 item on Stephen Guilbeault, the heritage minister's to-do list, the number 2 priority was internet censorship.
Yep.
I am sure it's going to come back with a vengeance. It was in the throne speech. So I want to tell you this. We will fight like it's the last ditch. My old friend John O'Sullivan would say it's better to fight in the first ditch than the last ditch. And we have been fighting in the first ditch. Mm-hmm. We have fought every time. We fight for others as well as ourselves. But one day they will come for us. That day may be soon. And we will fight until we can't. We will not bend. We'll only break. All right, let's get back to the Super Chats. We got a lot more coming in. Do you want to read some more? Do you want me to take over for a bit?
Sure, I'll breeze through a few more. Lewis Talbot gives us £10. It's so irritating how he continually conflates spending with investing. Yeah, that's another Orwellian bait and switch thing there. Borrowing vast amounts of money simply to finance current government spending is not investing. A pipeline is an investment. Even then, it's not an investment. A pipeline is a private sector venture that should have nothing to do with the government. Yeah. Georgie gives us $5. Trudeau's playing an inside straight, poker terms. He knows it. And to me, he is like Bill Cosby. People know he is up to no good, but people cover.
Well, and that's not just a speculation. Every journalist in Canada in the media party knew about the blackface pics.
Yep.
And we know this because as soon as it was broken, I think it was Time Magazine in the States, well, boom, CBC Global, they rolled out theirs, and they had others. They had videotape. So they were all in on it, and they, for whatever reason, chose loyalty to Trudeau over loyalty to their viewers. It is objectively news when the Prime Minister of your country, in 3 generations, in high school, in college, and as a grown man, 3 generations does blackface. Does it so often he can't even count. Can't even number it to the closest 10.
Yep.
It's objectively news, and everyone sat on it. No one trusts the media party. They are an auxiliary of the Liberal Party, and they were even before Trudeau started funding the media party. And I think it obsesses him that we cannot or will not be bought. That must irritate him. For everyone else bows before the prince. Either they're wowed by him or they're bribed in some way. But we're neither wowed by him nor bribable. That must irritate him.
Well, they all knew about Rose Knight, too.
Yeah.
They all did. Let's keep going. Joel Gordon gives us $14. Have you covered how Trudeau sold out remaining gold reserves by every other country in the G20 is adding to their reserves? Venezuela North. Jolly Fryer gives us $10. I don't see a super chat. Ali Agnes, $25. Hello, friends. Love your channel, Ezra. Alina here. Your first bosses, Tom's wife. My heart breaks at seeing your children terrified and wearing masks.
Yeah.
Yeah, as though school wasn't enough of an institutional prison for little kids scheduled to do things all day, and now they have to wear a mask and they can't hug their little friends. Yeah. Lexi Decimal gives us $26. Keep doing what you do, and specifically continue to do A-tips, and as always appreciate SGR, that's me, and Ezra Levant's efforts on providing the evidence that the fake news is too incompetent to research and provide. Yeah, that's something we do that the rest of the media doesn't do. If we say we have documents, we publish them. And I hope the other media will take them and run with them, but they never really do.
Yeah. We spend, I'd have to check the invoices because we pay them automatically. Mm-hmm. We have a full-time researcher. We spend thousands of dollars a month on ATIPs and some individual ATIPs, that stands for access to information, requests under the privacy law. Some of them, like I just signed the approval to spend nearly $800.
Yep.
There was one government agency that said, yeah, we got those documents, but you need to pay us $800 for photocopies.
For photocopies and digital documents that they already have.
Yeah, what's the photocopying? Whenever I see that, I think there's something there they really don't want us to see. So.
And I think the most expensive one we did was nearly $3,600 or $3,800, and it was the fire documents on the canceled water bomber contracts in Fort McMurray. And when we got the bill for that, we knew it was something big.
I remember. Yeah, I just thought, what are they hiding that they want to charge? I mean, they could have said $36,000, but that would have been crazy. So $3,600 is probably the highest they could have said without looking absolutely insane.
Yep.
But we were just the people who paid it, and that turned out to be the story of the year. All right, where were we? Truth of things, $2. It is time for the Canadian Revolution. There's enough and it's enough. Well, my point of view is that if you start talking revolution, unless you mean a democratic, peaceful revolution, well, then really what are you different than from the Antifa rioters? And so if you mean a peaceful revolution, or Mike Harris's common sense revolution, I get it. But I won't accept talk that implies violence. Smell my finger again. I keep getting all those ones, Sheila. I keep getting those ones. My children tell me about classmates wearing face shields and using sanitizer on their hands before eating rather than washing. It is child abuse. Do you want to call up that baby viz we had earlier today?
Oh, God.
I saw this and it made me so mad. There is no medical basis for this. There is no public
demonic to see those little babies wearing them.
Who would do this to these little babies?
It makes me ill.
And that can't. What are you doing? Look at them. What are you doing? Oh my God! Now looking at the language there, I don't know what language is that. Is it pronounced? How do you pronounce it? Tagalog? How do you pronounce that word?
Tagalog, I think.
Is that how you pronounce that?
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what language that is. But that's deeply disturbing to me. Where are we now? Lawrence Turner, $70. Lawrence, that's amazing. Thank you very much. Matthew Phillips, $7. So I hear Trump's on his way to kicking intersectionality, social justice, BLM, deconstruction, education to the curb. Now do Canada's academia. Oh yeah, he's saying, first he said we're getting rid of it in the government. Now he's saying if you're a business that does this inherent racism BS, you won't get any contracts from us. That's how you pull it you pull out the weed by the root. Mm-hmm. Kalpke Gebert, $50. I'm so thankful for all you do. Thank you. Well, Kalpke, that is very nice of you, and thanks for the $50. Fawking Guy, $5. I still love you though, Ezra, and the rest of Rebel crew. Well, thank you. Shauna Giesinger, $25. Thank you, Rebel. Our POSPM cut $75 million from sex trafficking programs and is friends with Peter Dalglish. I think he's Fidel Castro's son. Yeah, of all the things to cut that. And you know, part of the QAnon worldview is that there's a cover-up of child sex trafficking and pedophilia. And you might think, well, that sounds absurd, that there's this, you know, cabal of international jet-setting masters of the universe, billionaires, royalty, powerful people that are, that's just absurd. And then the Jeffrey Epstein facts come out, and then the Harvey Weinstein facts come out. And then you think, okay, so what did Alex Jones actually get wrong? I mean, that's a conspiracy theory. That's crazy. Really? Bill Clinton was on those flights so many times. Who else was? People say Justin Trudeau were on those. I don't predict he was. Justin Trudeau doesn't have trouble getting women to sleep with him. He is a groper, but he's not. I don't think he's a pedophile. But one of his college roommates was charged with sexual offenses. Various donors. Now, I don't want to hang that around his head, because if you're a political leader, you meet thousands of people, and you'll have photos with someone. I'm sure I've shaken hands with someone who has, unbeknownst to me, gone on to commit a crime, or maybe did so before I shook his hand. But the people who, and Trudeau's not a world-class player. Trudeau's the son of a former PM who sort of lurched across the finish line and became PM with a low, I mean, Trudeau is not a true world leader. So he's not in the category of Prince Andrew or Bill Gates. Like, the people who hung out with Jeffrey Epstein were world-class pedophiles. I don't know what Bill Gates was hanging out with him for, even after Epstein was convicted. It's very curious to me. We know why Bill Clinton was there, but Trudeau is not in that level. All Trudeau would say is, hey guys, look at my socks. Don't mind me and my little Epstein tangent there, but you can understand. You know, Mike Cernovich says the reason why people follow QAnon and other belief systems, I'm going to call it that, is because of all the lies that the media party is explicitly part of. Can you call up, I think it was ABC, that leaked footage that Project Veritas had of that reporter when the cameras were off saying, oh, we knew about Epstein, but we were told to kill the story. You know that one I'm talking about, Justin? So people see the Epstein cover-up. They see how, when he's in jail in New York, oh, whoopsie, the camera's not working. Whoopsie, the guards were they had a nap. They weren't watching. They see all these things happening. And then they say, you know what? You'd have to be a conspiracy theorist to think it was suicide. And take a look at this. This is the reporter I'm talking about. Take a look at this.
3 years ago, and her bosses at ABC News spiked it.
And then Alan Dershowitz was also implicated in it because of the planes. She told me everything. She had pictures. She had everything. She was in hiding for 12 years. We convinced her to come out. We convinced her to talk to us. It was unbelievable what we had. Clinton, we had everything. I tried for 3 years to get it on, to no avail, and now it's all coming out, and it's like these new revelations, and I freaking had all of it. I'm so pissed right now. Like, every day I get more and more pissed, because I'm just like, oh my God, what we had was unreal.
Our insider told us this tape was recorded earlier this year in late.
So there's an ABC reporter. You know, you and I banter and we talk. If we were on a real TV station during a commercial break, we would be bantering, and we would assume the cameras were off. Of course, the cameras just roll all the time. They're not broadcasting during commercials. So she was bantering with her staff, her team. She knew she was mic'd. She just assumed this was between, a commercial break or something. And she is explicit there. There is no double meaning to her language. There's no misunderstanding her. She had witness statements, information on Clinton for 3 years, and and it was blocked. We got more of that, is that right? We'll take a look. Go ahead.
Brad Edwards, the attorney, 3 years ago, saying there will come a day when we will realize Jeffrey Epstein was the most prolific pedophile this country has ever known. I had it all 3 years ago.
But the creepy thing is that we would make access to all of these high-profile people.
Well, then I got a little concerned about why I couldn't get on.
On the leaked insider tape,
Yeah, we don't have to play more of it, but my point is, if you know this about your media, ABC, legacy media, one of the first media, one of the first TV stations in the world, historically.
Yep.
One of the great legacy media stations where we can criticize their political bent, but it is a great, monumental establishment with, I don't know, it's not 100 years old yet, but it's like the General Motors, with all the pluses and minuses of that term, of TV. And there you have a credible journalist of some seniority with detailed descriptions of what she had and who said what. And she couldn't be clearer. We couldn't get this on. Maybe it's because all these high-profile people. You bet. You think you roll that stuff out and Epstein's not going to be calling your president, calling everyone on the food chain above you, nixing the story? Maybe the president, maybe your boss's boss's boss, flew with him on the plane to Pedophile Island. So this comes out. So the truth about Epstein comes out more or less. And then this comes out to show that the media was complicit in the cover-up about, as Amy Robach says there, the most prolific pedophile in American history, if not more. How can you ever trust the media again when they say, oh, no, there's no child trafficking? So you no longer can trust ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post. What was Bill Gates doing hanging out? Can you grab for me the headline, Bill Gates, Jeffrey Epstein? Because he hung out with Epstein late. Once everything was out.
Yep.
Once he was photo show Bill Clinton, Ghislaine Maxwell on Epstein's Lodi Express jet. Oh, sorry, I meant to say Bill Gates, not Bill Clinton. Show me, I misspoke. I think the New York Times even did a big story. Like, what is, Bill Gates has all the money in the world. I think he's actually back up to like number 2 or number 3 or something in wealth. He has all the money in the world. He's got his foundations, he's got his stuff. What does he need from Jeffrey Epstein? What does Jeffrey Epstein have that Bill Gates couldn't buy? Yeah, Bill Gates met with Jeffrey Epstein many times despite his past. Don't worry about it. You know what bugs me is every month New York Times takes my subscription money, but I don't know my password to get in. I'm very frustrated. So if you were part of a worldview that I'm going to call conspiratorial, and it replaces the official information on child trafficking with an alternative set of facts and views that says the mainstream media is a pack of liars, well, that pack of liars part is true. So you have to come up with an alternative worldview, and that's why QAnon is so appealing, because the legacy media is a pack of liars. And who told us that? Well, you just saw Amy Robach tell us that, and you don't even need to be told that because now we know. And we still haven't, by the way, seen the list of who's visited Pedophile Island. I'm going on at some length here, but these are real issues, and the media party has been complicit and compliant, and I'm absolutely certain you will see names of the media party on that list. Just how many people were felled by the Me Too. Charlie Rose, the sensitive interviewer. He was the guy who would invite young interns to his country home, and then whoopsies, I'm just going to have a shower, and whoopsies, like they're all pervy predators.
Yeah.
All of them, and all of them male feminists. No one's a bigger male feminist than Bill Clinton was. Harvey Weinstein wouldn't shut up about male feminism. It's Jian Ghomeshi, his degree was in women's studies. Why do you take a degree in women's studies? Because that's where the women are. Al Capone, why'd you rob banks? That's where the money is? Hey, Jian Ghomeshi, why are you taking women's studies? What's wrong with you?
Yeah.
No, mate. What's wrong with you? That's where all the girls are. So Jian Ghomeshi's the only guy in this class of women, and I'm guessing that 50% of them are a little too, let's say, feminist for him. But the other 50% are shooting fish in a barrel for a predator like that. Male feminist, every damn one of them. Bill Gates has some answering to do. All right, let's get back to the super chats. Don't mind me. It's 7:39. Let's see if we can whip through these super chats and be done by 8.
Okay. Do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay. Rusty Peterson gives us $6.99, time to hit the streets in protest. Maria C. gives us $5. Governments that support case-demia are national traitors. Do you mean case-demic as opposed to pandemic? Tony Newmeyer gives us $50. Thank you very much, Tony. First term my wife coined, the only name we call the PM in our house is JFT. Know what the F stands for. Also, we must replace the term progressive with regressive. It makes much more sense. Krusty Canuck gives us $25. Thank you very much. Well done, Rebel. Do you guys think or foresee any conflict in the near future? I think the world is more peaceful than it's ever been. With Donald Trump at the helm, he's doing that whole peace through power thing. We're seeing peace in the Middle East. North Korea and South Korea are seriously talking. I think the world is a safer place now than it's ever been.
By some measures, that's true. Tell me the last Republican president who hasn't gone to war. Tell me the last Democrat president who hasn't gone to war. I don't know if you can find that Hillary Clinton no-fly zone clip. One of the most stunning things from the 2016 campaign. For those who care about, I remember when the Libertarian Party leader was said, what do you think of, what was the town in Aleppo? He was asked, what do you think of Aleppo? Or what's your plan for Aleppo? And he says, what's Aleppo? What's Aleppo? He had never heard of Aleppo before. And he answered, what's a space Aleppo? And everyone said, ha, 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 that dope, he doesn't know what Aleppo is. Yeah, you don't know what Aleppo is either. You just heard someone on TV said Aleppo. I deeply care about Aleppo. Find Aleppo on the map for me. You can't find it. Why do you care about Aleppo? Because the people on TV care about Aleppo.
Yeah.
I mean, I know a little bit about Aleppo, but I couldn't find it on the map without looking for the word. Do we care about Aleppo? Well, let me tell you how much Hillary Clinton told us to care. Look at this shocking thing she said.
You have talked about, and in the last debate and again today, that you would impose a no-fly zone to try to protect the people of Aleppo and to stop the killing there. President Obama has refused to do that because he fears it's going to draw us closer or deeper into the conflict. And General Joseph Dunford, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, says, you impose a no-fly zone, chances are you're going to get into a war, his words, with Syria and Russia. So the question I have is, if you impose a no-fly zone, first of all, how do you respond to their concerns? Secondly, if you impose a no-fly zone and a Russian plane violates that, does President Clinton shoot that plane down?
Well, Chris, first of all, I think a no-fly zone could save lives and could hasten the end of the conflict. I am well aware of the really legitimate concerns that you have expressed from both the president and the general. This would not be done just on the first day. This would take a lot of negotiation. It would also take making it clear to the Russians and the Syrians that our purpose here was to provide safe zones on the ground.
Okay, that was a lengthy scholarly approach she was taking. She said that so many times. You bring in a no-fly zone in Syria. Is the mighty Syrian Air Force what you're worried about? No. I just sent you, there's an air base in Syria. I used to follow the Syrian Ministry of Defense on my Twitter just because they had incredible footage out of Syria. There is a Russian air base in Syria called Khmeimim, if I'm saying it right. And they have brutal aircraft there. Russia's Khmeimim Air Base in Syria, documentary part 1. Yeah, skip to, just show some of the aircraft. It is, see if we can get some aircraft in. These are modern, any of these. And show them taking off. Right there even. That's a Russian plane. That doesn't look like a particularly tough one. That looks like a drone.
Drone.
That's a drone there. Show me some jets taking off. That air base, I grant you, killed so many people. All right, there you go. Look at those planes. That's the Russian equivalent of an F-16 or an F-15. It's not a generation, fifth generation. So, okay, thanks. You're going to bring in a no-fly zone, and there is a Russian air base there. That's like a Russian aircraft carrier, except for it can't be sunk. You're going to shoot those down, are you? Hillary Clinton wanted a war in Syria.
Yeah.
Donald Trump has not started a war anywhere. In fact, he's brought home, that's a mighty transport if I'm not mistaken. There's just some incredible, look at that. That's Khmeimim Air Base, if I'm pronouncing it right. So I'm going on too long about this, but the idea that you would put a no-fly zone in a country that the government does not invite you in. The government has the Russians as their allies. There is a Russian air base there. You're not going in as part of the United Nations. It's not like Afghanistan. The UN invited America into Afghanistan. The UN invited Canada into Afghanistan, and both countries had the permission and the approval of the Afghan government. Yeah. Imagine saying you're going to bring in a no-fly zone into a country that is not yours, a country that does not want you there, and a country where you have the largest Russian air base outside of Russia. Are you crazy? So don't mind me going on for 10 minutes about the Khmeimim Air Base. It's better than me trying to remember passages from the Bible. But my point is, imagine a president who, instead of declaring war on Syria and Russia, says, let's bring some troops home.
Should we keep going?
Yeah, that's a good idea. It's a nice way of saying
yeah, please. Yeah.
I just wanted to show those pictures of the Russian, the Syrian air base. Go ahead.
Stephen gives us $5. Were they plagiarizing Biden or the UN? We know the Liberals love the UN. Is there really any distinction there? Building Back Better is the name of the program developed by the UN in 2015. Yeah, you learned that earlier today, didn't you, Ezra, in another live stream. Patrick gives us $20. You're amazing. Thank you very much. Edward Nelson gives us $5. What was the infrastructure behind a 29-year-old drama teacher's rise to power and the collapse of all major media? Amazing. I think the infrastructure is called the CBC.
And the environmental groups and the World Wildlife Fund every left-wing environmental group in British Columbia, Lead Now, foreign donors, the Tides
Democrat
Foundation,
activists,
teachers unions, nurses unions, public sector unions. You don't need to guess. Go, hey, Justin, can you go to Elections Canada third-party registrations 2015? You know what I'm talking about? The Elections Canada has a page of all registered third-party groups. So that's different than Liberal Party, Conservative Party, NDP. If you spend more than a certain amount of money, you have to register, and there are about 100. Yeah, perfect. These, and you'll look at every single one of these. Whose side were they on? 101 Reasons to Vote Against Harper. 45 Degrees North, Adbusters. And look at that, Avaz. Where's their office? Look at Avaz there.
Yeah.
Broadway, New York. So you've got a New York company run by an American in America.
Yeah.
Registering. This is the 2015 one, right?
Yeah.
So the question is, who paid for it? Look here. Look at all these unions. Canadian Labour Congress, Canadian Nurses Association,
Media Guild,
CUPE, CUP W. I don't know whose side the chicken farmers of Canada were on. Climate Action Now, Dogwood Initiative, Ecology Ottawa, Equiterre, that's Stephen Guilbeault. All Green Pack, IATSE, Just the Facts Canada, I don't know what that is. Lead Now, there it is. David Suzuki is not on this list, but he campaigned. These are 100 so-called third-party groups. I think 2 of them are conservative. The Toronto 350, that's a Rockefeller Brothers group.
Same with some of us.
United Steelworkers. Voters Against Harper, that's right.
Voteswapping.ca again was another Lead Now operation.
Environment. So you're asking where the infrastructure is. Here's 100 institutions. The ones that bothered to register.
Yeah.
David Suzuki Foundation did not register. So that's the answer to where's your infrastructure. That's part of the answer. All right. MOC9M, $5. Fun fact, oxygen levels in most masks violate occupational health and safety regulations. I don't know. Valerie Gale, $10. Nazim B, $10. Thanks, guys. Robert Fraser, $5. Ezra, about your comment about the other side and that fear, false expectations appearing real. In reality, they don't exist. Removal of fear equals freedom. Well, you know, there's a phrase, fake it till you make it. There's something to there. Act confident and things go your way. One thing Trudeau has is confidence. Because he gets away with everything, why wouldn't he expect to get away with things this time? In fact, when he did a marijuana live chat, remember when he did that marijuana thing way back when? He tells the story of, I think it was his brother who got in trouble for marijuana, and his dad made a phone call and all went away. That's his life. So he's not, he just, no, I'll get out of this, I'm a Trudeau. I'll tell everybody not to go meet their family for Easter, and then I will immediately go meet my family for Easter, because I'm a Trudeau and you're just you. The Great Awakening, $5. Ezra Q equals highest level of military intelligence. These men work so hard they make you look like an A&W manager. First of all, any fast food manager works hard. And second of all, how do you know they're high level military intelligence? And third of all, I don't care what your belief system is if you get out and work. But cryptic messages is not work. It's not door knocking, it's not fundraising, it's not fighting in the court of public opinion, fighting in the court of law. I just don't accept that. And I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm just saying, in desperation, people look and grasp at things. That's what I'm saying. We've interviewed Norm Traversy, 2 or 3 times. I got no beef with the guy. We give him airtime. It's not going to win. Trudeau is not going to be arrested. Trudeau will not be convicted and jailed with a private prosecution. Trudeau does not have an anklet tracker on his ankle. I'm sorry, he does not. There will be no semi-coup like that to take him out. I'm sorry, there will not be. And you wouldn't want there to be. Because if there was some tricky way to remove him from office, do you not think that tricky way would have been used against Stephen Harper? There are no tricks. And that's what bugs me about these theories, is that you're hoping against hope instead of working. And that's what we talked about before, faith and works. Smell my finger, I keep getting his. $5, donate $19.84. It will earn a donation to Rebel in the amount of $1,984 if there are enough of them. Well, that is an incredible promise. And I will keep saying the word, smell my finger. Even though I don't like saying that word, I feel ridiculous saying it. Julie Payette today actually read the word it's not a recession, it's a she-session. She actually said that.
I know.
And I'm saying the word smell my finger because that's how we pay the bills around here. Mark Friesen, Grizzly Patriot FFCS. Yes, Ezra, stay real, dump the establishment, CPC, and support the PPC for the sake of our nation and our values of freedom, sovereignty, prosperity, and justice. Listen, Maxime Bernier, I think, is running in Toronto in an upcoming by-election, and nothing would make me happier than to see him win. I do regret that he will get less than 15% of the vote. That is my prediction. And why don't you check back with me afterwards? I would love it if he would win. But I want to deal in the realm of the, not just the possible, but of the probable and the likely and the best chance. I know people don't like to hear that. Peter Telford, $5. I'm not in politics, so I don't have to be politically correct. Well, a lot of people in private lives are canceled from jobs.
Yep.
Cindy McSeven, nice to see you again. Thank you. $5. Now Ford threatening prison. I'm moving to the UK. Don't move there. That's even worse. Birdley, 74, $5. The passion wasn't in that kiss. They both would rather be with a real man. You are cheeky. Ron Bissett, 50 smackers. Thank you, Ron. Kevin M. Clerks, $5. Missed the Trudeau speech. Doubt it would have been anything new. Figured I'd join in now for the facts and truth instead. That's nice of you. Hey, can you quickly show that gold reserves link I put there? Someone earlier said, have you covered the fact that Trudeau sold all the gold? This is a story from 4.5 years ago. Canada sells off most of its gold reserves. Thousands of gold clothes being sold. Canada's selling off most of its remaining gold reserves. I don't know why Trudeau did that in such a hurry I don't understand why. I don't know why he did that, but he did that. That was just an answer to a question an hour ago. Judy Knoll, $7. Thanks, Judy. I'll say it again. Schmel my finger, 1984. 1984, not my idea, but it's a good one. We sell COVID 1984 shirts at our store. Justin, you want to show that? Schmel my finger, I'm saying that word. Tagalog. Tagalog. Yeah, I was saying, I've heard it pronounced different ways, and I don't want to get that wrong. You know, you read a word, but you never hear it.
Yep.
Like, I had a friend who would never, there's a town in North Dakota, I think, called Minot. And you hear it, she said Minot. It's not French. Or if it's French, it probably is French. You know, Pierre. But it's Minot.
Yeah.
And it just immediately, I remember hearing someone call Louisiana and said, I go to school in New Orleans. And I could sort of hear the lady on the other side said, no, you don't, honey. No one in New Orleans says New Orleans. That's if you read it, they say Nolans or New Orleans.
Yeah.
They don't say New Orleans. There's our COVID 1984 shirt. I wore that into the office this morning. I sort of like it. COVID 1984. We got some more gear coming. Hopefully we'll be in a position to advertise it soon. Flat Earth Data, $7. This is about the rule of law and not the use of discretionary law. It appears the people in charge aren't practicing the rule of law. Treason? I don't recall what you're referring to in specific, sorry. Mathieu Phillips, $7. What about the time Kean asked Trudeau a question about writing something inappropriate to one of his former female students? What was that about? That was about Trudeau's time at the West Point Grey Academy. That was when we got into the leaders' debates after suing. Aaron Tucker, $5. Thanks, Aaron. Oh my gosh, smell my finger. $5. I keep trying to send a super chat about your safety. You guys are all in danger. My super chats get censored. I don't know. Maybe super chats are censored. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
Holly Guy, $25. The sneakypatrick.com link didn't work, so here's my donation for the fight. Love you, Ezra and Sheila. I'm sorry it didn't work. Maybe would you send a note to Eitan just to check that? Equilalala, $21. Thank you for all you do, Rebel News. Keep up the good and honest work and reporting our Canadian InfoWars. Well, that's an interesting comparison. I enjoy InfoWars. There's a secret pleasure. I find Alex Jones to be charismatic and entertaining. I don't take everything he says at face value. I discount some of what he says. And I feel bad that he has been sort of the scapegoat for all censorship. And I don't know. I met him once, and I enjoyed my time meeting him. And those are my thoughts. Sheila, you listen to. I mean, I honestly don't listen to his show that often. I think you listen to him more than I do, Sheila.
I do. I appreciate his passion, and he's right about more things than he's wrong about if you play the long game.
Yeah. Jeffrey Epstein, Harvey Weinstein.
Pedophile rings in Hollywood?
Absolutely. All right, do you want to take over?
Sure. The Great Awakening gives us $5, thanks to Q. Aaron Tucker gives us $51. I see you've played The Price is Right before. You're beating all the $50 donations by making 51. Thank you very much. American Canadian gives us $6.99. Sheila, we have all seen Alex Jones shirtless. Does Ezra ever walk around the office shirtless? Ha ha ha. Ezra's a modest man. I've never seen him without a shirt on. I don't work in the office, so I can't speak for everybody, but he is generally clothed, I think. For everybody's sake, his and us. Yeah.
Everyone would quit. Let me just leave it that way.
Yeah.
Now, I should say that on the company trip to Israel a couple years ago,
right,
we went to the Dead Sea.
Yes.
And the Dead Sea, they have a lot of mud. And you sort of put the mud on yourself. It's a thing. And I did take off my shirt, and I put mud on my body, so technically I wasn't naked. And I had my bathing suit on, of course.
Yes.
But there were work people in proximity.
Yes.
And I wasn't naked.
No.
I had a layer of mud on me.
Yes.
But I was awfully uncomfortable about it.
And if I remember that correctly, because I was there, you used the mud to draw abs on yourself.
I did. I did. When you covered it, I drew abs on the tummy. And it is a fact that I have that photo in my phone.
I do too.
And, but no one needs to see that.
No
one needs to. It'll burn the eyes. It'll burn the eyes. You know those in industrial workplaces, you have the eye wash. You know, the emergency eye wash. We're gonna have to send a couple thousand people emergency eye wash if we show me barefoot all over with just mud. But I do remember now, when you're covered in mud, you can draw abs. And
you did.
As I like to say, I got a washboard stomach with a load of laundry on it. That's sort of a David Menzies type joke.
David Menzies has told that joke on a live stream to me.
He?
Oh, a couple of times. Yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Matthew Phillips gives us $2.79. Treat all male feminists with great suspicion. Yeah. They're covering for something for sure. Milo McDonald, $10. Trudeau acting like he didn't redact, then hide. I hate a smug face. As annoying in French as he is in English. Bye bye, mon soy boy. Okay. Let them all know gives us $10. Why does Rebel News distract Canadians with USA news? While living in the USA, I never witnessed Canadian news on USA broadcasting networks. I don't know. I cover primarily Canadian stuff.
Yeah, we do cover primarily Canadian stuff. I would say. I mean, we cover some Australian stuff now because we got a fella down there. We talk about Britain. I used to travel there for Tommy Robinson's trials. But I think we are at least 80% Canadian content, maybe 90% these days. But it is a fact that the American, maybe it's 80% because we talk about Black Lives Matter, Antifa, riots, Trump. You talk about world peace and peace in the Middle East, of course you're going to talk about Trump. Trump is the most consequential president since Reagan. And the other side is so extreme. This truly is a battle of the titans. I'm not calling Joe Biden a titan, but it's titanic forces on his side. And of course I want Justin Trudeau to no longer be the Prime Minister of Canada. But I do believe that whether or not Trump wins in November will actually have a greater change in our lives in Canada than whether or not Trudeau wins. I don't want Trudeau to win. He's going to wreck Canada in 5 different ways. But Trump winning or Trump losing will have a greater effect on the whole world, especially us here in Canada. I believe that. We got, 40 days till the election? 40 days. It's incredible. Here, let me whip through some of these. Oh, how much do I have to donate to see a shirtless Ezra and David Trudeau-style hug? There ain't enough money. There ain't, David would do it for free, says Justin.
Yeah.
And I know that's true because we've seen David do quite some things. He dresses up in sort of a trans outfit and he went swimming. I don't know if you want to show that video. David will do his, Justin says I don't want to, but I will. David will do a surprising number of things.
Door. Yep.
I like David. We have a David video that he recorded. And I said to the team, we will not publish this video.
I've seen it.
Because we like David, and he wants to publish this video, but this is an instance where we're going to stop him. So this is a video of David. Is it David or is it Jonathan Yaniv? Lady Menzoid, he calls himself. That ain't right. That ain't right. There's something wrong there. That ain't right. That ain't right.
Wow.
That's just.
Look at the joy on his face, though. Look at it.
Yeah, oh, he's smiling. That's just, yeah.
Can I make a suggestion to American Canadian? Keep your peepers open for when we plan another rebel trip somewhere nice. Because you never know what happens on those kinds of things.
That's right. What happens in the Dead Sea stays in the Dead Sea.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it is possible. I do occasionally. I'm not, I don't know if you ever watched Arrested Development, but one of the characters there was a
Never nude.
a never
Jean
nude.
shorts under the desk. You got your shorts on, boss.
A never nude. Even in the shower, he's wearing these really short shorts. They're short jean shorts, and he's a never. I don't even know if that's a thing. I never knew. But in Curb Your Enthusiasm, it was quite a thing. So I like to say I'm a never nude, and I have a whole series of jokes that flow from that. Like, even I have never seen myself nude. That's a joke I tell. I shower in the dark. There's a lot of jokes that flow from that original baseline joke of never nude. It's all, I'm kidding around. But, yeah, I don't want to inflict things. I mean, there's some certain things you see you can't unsee. I mean, before I got the mud on me, I take off my shirt because I got my bathing suit on. I take off my shirt, and some guy says, "Take off that dirty, wrinkled sweater." I say, "I ain't wearing a sweater." So that has a deterrent effect. You get that, and that was from someone on our trip. Take off that dirty, wrinkled sweater. What are you doing? I'm not wearing a sweater or anything, actually. I'm just going to go put some mud on now.
Mud your shame.
Yeah, I'm not wearing anything but my shame. Aaron K, $5, Rebel. Thanks, Aaron. Shane Words 2020. Stop shopping at Walmart. Shop local. Support the small businesses, or there will be only one place to shop. I hear what you're saying. You got to watch my extended video where I talk about I wanted to buy some lip balm, but I didn't want to go to a place that would treat me like a criminal if I didn't have a mask on. I didn't want to get a fight with them, so I wound up buying this from the world's richest man, Jeff Bezos, on Amazon, because I didn't want to have a frickin' quarrel with people I don't want to fight with. There's people I like to fight. I fight every day. I don't want to fight with the kids at the local corner store. I don't know if you can see that. I am exempt. So we got these buttons. Got these buttons now. I am exempt. The idea being you can see them from far enough away that maybe people won't hassle you. If you go to maskexemption.ca, you can get the button. It's $10 including shipping, which is not a bad deal. I think in the first day so what did I say, 1,200 or something? 1,200 in the first day. People want the buttons. I was sort of surprised. I think we've ordered another 10,000. We started with an order of 5,000. You sell 1,200 in one day, you better get some more. Shmelma Finger, I've said that so many times today. $5, thank you, Shmelma. Sheila, Kian, Raheel, Drea, Menzies, I watch you all. Avi in Australia, and of course, Tommy R. Let's keep this up and fight together. God bless. Well, that's friendly. Do you want to take over? This one mentions you.
Sure. Shmelma Finga gives us $5. Sheila, you're meant to be a leader, as is Ezra. I'm waiting on you guys to figure it out. I follow because I don't have the answer. I'm happy to do the exposing outside of the political process. I think there's a place for those sorts of people to hold all levels of power to account.
Well, there's different kinds of leaders. And Sheila, you are a leader. You're our chief reporter. And that means something, actually. When we have new reporters that join the team, you spend extra time showing them the rebel mindset and the rebel style.
That's true.
That's a definition of leadership. That's one expression of leadership. Canadian Combat Wombat, $5. Wouldn't be surprised if he gets JFK'd. Also, screw China. I don't know who you're talking about there. Rob Lentowich, $5. Why isn't Operation Laser over the news on Canada as Trudeau attempted to dox and spy on Canadian Twitter users? Very CCP-like. Yeah, both Sheila and I did a story on that.
Yes.
Paul Schofield, $5. Howdy, guys. Nice to catch up with you again. Thanks, Paul. Taipan, $5. Good day from Australia. Well, good day, mate. I think we've caught up.
That's the end of it. Yeah.
Well, I've enjoyed this. This was my 4th broadcast of the day.
Poor boss.
Oh, I don't mind. I'm just, I've got all my like little drinks and stuff here, and I've had so much tea, which has caffeine. I sort of forgot that. No, listen, I thought this was a great live stream. Sheila, thanks as always for joining. What a loser Justin Trudeau is. What a small man.
I nailed it. I nailed it. I'm proud of my prediction.
You did. He just couldn't let Julie Payette have a day. And it's not even a rivalry thing. It's know your place. The Governor General is the Queen's representative. The throne speech is an ancient tradition. It's a custom. It is a form of our, it's part of our constitutional heritage. Trudeau just couldn't have that.
Yep.
What a little schmuck. Smell my finger, $5. I'm raising children that are terrified. I'm terrified you keep me level. Well, try and keep your kids as normal as possible. Mm-hmm. Sheila, let me invite you to say a goodbye or a last thoughts on the evening or the super chats or anything like that. And then I'll say goodbye. Do we have another puppy video? Do you want to? We got another dog video. Okay, we got a dog video to end. Thank you so much, Justin. You, after working together for so many years, you know, it's like our cycles are synchronized.
Oh boy. You know, we almost had a live dog video because my dog, I had to.
Justin just said HR department. Well, that's what, you roll in the HR department. We don't have one. When, God forbid, the shirt ever comes off. Which, so help me God, will never happen.
This is why we don't have an HR department.
Right.
We almost had a live dog video because my dog sits under my desk and she almost jumped up on my knee about 20 minutes ago. But I want to thank everybody at home for tuning in. I think at one point we had over 3,000 people tuning in to watch us give analysis of Justin Trudeau saying absolutely nothing new. And I want to thank everybody at home who dropped a little bit of cash into the super chat. Every little bit helps. We don't take money from Justin Trudeau. We'll never take money from Justin Trudeau. We rely on the support of people like you at home. And I just cannot thank you enough.
Well, that's a nice way to end. I see Naomi Amosa chipped in $10 from down under. Thank you, Naomi. Sheila, I glanced at the count once when it was 3,860.
Wow.
So I don't know if that was the absolute maximum, but that's pretty good. Sheila, thanks for your time. Thanks for your great journalism, as always. Very special thank you to Justin. This is his fourth show today, too. And I know it's late. It's 8:12, and it's past the time when we all normally go home. Thank you to the rest of the Rebel team who works behind the scenes. Everyone from Mike, who makes the still images, to our social media team, which includes, amongst others, Yankee and Margaret and Kathy. There's so many people on the team. You know, we have about 24 people on the team these days. Our newest teammate being Avi Yamini down under. He's doing gangbusters. He's going full tilt down there, and he's fighting back in Melbourne, the most locked down city in the world. My friends, we could talk too long, but we've had a great day. I'm going to say thanks and sign off. And I'm going to sign off in that tradition that we have lately, which is to end with a doggy video. As you know, the Latin word for dog is Canis familiaris, which literally means family dog. The dog's purpose in life, scientifically, is to be man's best friend. And in these dark days, these challenging days. Oh, do you have your doggy there, Sheila?
Yeah.
Oh, what kind of dog is that?
She's a mini Schnauzer pug cross, so she's pretty wiry, kind of fat, not much to look at, but very loyal.
And how old is that little critter?
6.
6?
6. This is, that's Morgan Reed, the super dog.
Well, that is great. I'm sorry, what's the name again?
Morgan.
Morgan. Well, that's a good-looking doggy. Oh, that's a nice doggy. Well, I feel better just seeing your dog. Look at that.
A little snaggletooth.
Great. That's right. You got a little snaggletooth or something there. That's great. Well, I'm so glad you showed us Morgan. We're going to end with a video of a dog that Justin has found, and I find that these make me feel between 22% and 41% better about the day. So I'll thank everybody for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Until then, keep fighting for freedom. And here's our dog video. That's a good one.